Hi there. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Fred Macedo and I'm here with my friends Carla, Rosangela, Ruben, and Rosalie. We are here for another Gospel at Home. This is our English version. And before we start, I'm going to ask my good friend Carla to make our initial prayer. Please, Carla.
Hello, good evening. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth and as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespass as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Carla. Rosalie, what we are going to read? Page 256. Corporeal kinship and spirit kinship. Blood ties do not necessarily establish ties among spirits. The body proceeds from the body, but the spirit does not proceed from the spirit, because the spirit already existed before the formation of the body. Parents do not create the spirit of their children. They do not except furnish them with their corporeal envelope. But it is their duty to aid in their intellectual and moral development, to help them progress. Spirits who incarnate in the same family, especially among close relatives, are most often sympathetic spirits, connected by previous relationships that are expressed by their mutual affection during earthly life. Nevertheless, it may also happen that such spirits are complete strangers to one another, divided by previous antipathies that are now expressed as animosity to serve as a trial. Therefore, real family ties are not blood ties, but ties of sympathy and similarity of ideas that connect spirits before, during, and after their incarnations. It thus follows that two individuals born from different parents may be more like brothers through their spirits than if they were brothers through blood. They may attract each other, search for each other, and feel happy together, whereas two brothers related by blood may repel each other, a fact attested to every day. This moral problem is one that only Spiritism can resolve by means of the plurality of existences. Consequently, there are no two types there are two types of families: family through spirit ties and families through their corporeal ties. The former are permanent, strengthened through purification, and are perpetuated in the spiritual world through the many migrations of the soul. The latter are fragile, like matter itself, are extinguished over time, and often dissolve morally even in the current lifetime. This is what Jesus wanted to make understood by saying to his disciples, "Here are my mother and brothers, that is, my family through the ties of the Spirit, because all who do the will of my Father who is in heaven are my brother, my sister, and my mother." His brother's hostility is clearly expressed in Mark's narrative, which states that their purpose was to take charge of him under the pretext that he had lost his mind. Upon being informed of their arrival and knowing their sentiments toward him, it was natural that Jesus, speaking from a spiritual standpoint, would refer to his disciples as these are my true brothers. His mother was with his brothers, and thus Jesus generalized his lessons, which in no way implies that he meant that his mother, according to the body, was nothing to him according to the spirit, and that he felt nothing but indifference toward her. His behavior on many other occasions proved quite the contrary. So, what can we say about this part? Just a moment. That we have our relatives, we have our father, our mother, our siblings, but sometimes we are with them for one incarnation or maybe two, just to make amends, to atone for our past sins. Often we found out that we were we were enemies in past lives, and then God put us together to make to make the family work, because I need to learn to forgive all my enemies, and my enemies that are around me, sometimes in the same family, must learn to forgive me. That's why we often see families that unfortunately one kill another because uh, they were enemies and they couldn't forgive one another. Want to comment something, Carla?
Um, yes, I think we have like a spirit link with people and blood, but sometimes we can have a relationship stronger than we have on blood relationship. You know, I think we can choose our family, and probably your friendship can contribute a lot for your evolution. You are on mute, Fred.
Sorry. Once, once upon a time, a very long time ago, I went uh, I went to Europe, and I uh, a girl seated right next to me, and was strange because we start talking. It was like 11 hours flight, and we talked like 7 8 hours straight. It was crazy, and uh, I I got a feeling that I have known her a lot, and she thought so, and that's why some a, a lot of times we know persons that we have a feeling that we have known them before, and
Exactly. Totally agree. I have the same feeling.
and sometimes we have a difficult relative, a brother, a sister, a father, or our husband, our our wife,
Right.
and there is a lot of conflict. And I asked my good mentor why. Nah, I'm when you get to know your wife, your husband, at first it's all like a blessing. It's all love and caring and so good. And then after a few years, the thing, the relationship starts to get very complicated.
Because probably in the beginning, we don't know exactly what the person is. We start to understand the reactions, the what the this person wants, needs, this kind of thing. Not at the beginning. When you are family, you are built in the same house. So probably you may know who are those people that's living and growing with you. That's my comment.
I agree with you, but he or she, I don't know if is male, female,
Hmm.
give me a quite different explanation. He said to me like this: when you get to know your your wife or your husband, all the remains the remains you don't remember what was going on in the past life, and then um, the betrayals, the bad things from past lives, it starts to emerge because they have to, all these things have to emerge, to go up in the subconscious.
Probably
And
you don't know exactly what are you feeling, but I think you feel, this is something wrong.
yes, that's it. Because if all this thing, all these bad things emerge sooner, you would not have tried to be with that person. But as time goes on, these feelings start to emerge to the subconscious because you don't remember exactly what it was. Neither do your husband or wife, but he senses, she senses there is a lot of rage, a lot of um, a lot of things that must come out, and that's where people um, give up. I will give up because my marriage is not very good. And please
Yeah,
interrupt me
I
for a second.
understand. I have my personal experience about this. I totally understand what are you saying.
And of course, that spirits about divorce says that it's better to divorce than to stay in a relationship where you suffer violence, physical violence or moral violence. So uh, I say this because um, I was thinking about my relationship with my wife. It's good, it's nice, it's okay, we get along. But when I compare like uh, 10 years ago, 6 years ago, it was a lot sweeter than now. Of course, we we have some distance between us because we have a child. It's kind of natural. But I sense that there are things that are emerging that are not from this life. And for me too. And then my mentor said, "You see what you're feeling? I can, I can tell you only this. You are guilty for all these things that are emerging. I cannot say what you have done, but it wasn't good things." And then I realized that uh, it's okay from time to time we argue. It's okay from time to time I'm unhappy or she's unhappy. Um, we have to deal with these things because life in this very earth, trials and in a world of trials and expiation, it's not a walk in the park. And marriage is not for amateurs because you have to deal with a great deal of things. And when I asked my mentor, but why sometimes I have to give it all? Because Christ give it all to us. And who gives more wins more. Because if we give more, we are being charitable. Remember that when we talk about charity, I'm saying the moral charity. That is when you forgive one another. Final thoughts, Carla?
Not. I think you said everything.
Okay. Let's call it for the night. Let's thank Jesus, the good spirits that have been all around us, infusing us with great energies and infusing us with great thoughts and inspirations. And we know that we are not alone in our homes. The good spirits bring other suffering spirits that, as us, need these words because our problems sometimes is their problems too, because the only thing that that make us different from them is that we have a physical body and they don't anymore. So thank you all for your patience, and I'm gonna ask Rosangela for our final prayer. Thank you all.
We thank the good spirits who have come to communicate with us and ask them to help us put into practice the instruction they have given us. We also hope they will ensure that each and for us at the end of this session is fortified in the practice of good and love for our neighbor. We also wish these lessons may be useful for the suffering, ignorance, or vicious spirits who were able to attend this meeting and forum. We implore the mercy of God. God
Have a good
bless
night.
you.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night. Thank you.